we have Stephanie Ellis, she's the marketing manager, and we have Steve Volsky, who's the president of the conduit division. So let me welcome Stephanie and Steve.
You might want to turn those lights down maybe a little bit too, so you can see. Hello everyone, how's everybody?
Good.
I'm not Stephanie, I'm Steve. But anyway, Stephanie, Stephanie's been with the organization for a little bit over 7 years, 7.5 years. And I've been with the organization actually about 5.5. But my experience goes back with Robroy. First started doing work as a vendor for Robroy in 1995. So I've been around the East Texas community and doing work for the organization, actually for the rest of their organizations for now 27 years. So it wasn't a new relationship when I came over to Robroy. Of course, I knew David Marshall, which I'm sure a lot of you knew as well, and known the organization for several years. So it's not a new face to the organization when I did kind of come in and be in a position to kind of be the next generation. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through some of the history. I'm sure you guys have heard, I know that some of our people have spoken at the Rotary before. How many know the history of Robroy? Good. Then maybe this will be a good news to you. So, Gilmer was established, what, 19 what?
Actually 1877, but
1877.
my great grandfather bought it in 1916, I believe.
1916. So Robroy's been around since 1905. It's actually in its 4th generation of family. Only about 4% of companies make it through to the 4th generation. I think the McElroy family has done a very good job of actually creating an organization that kind of continues to reinvent itself, and actually, and by the same token, what they've done a lot of times is they always buy out their previous generations. So there's not a lot of family in the business on a day-to-day basis. In fact, just this year, the two brothers, which some of you may know, they were in this community on and off over the years. Rob and Jeff, they had just recently purchased their shares from their father, and they're now kind of a 1st generation company again. So it's kind of a new day at Robroy. It's a little bit of a change that's happened over the last few years. And we'll talk a little bit about more of those changes too. I'm going to take this off, if you don't mind. So we are headquartered in Verona, Pennsylvania, and have been since that time. That's basically where we got our start. And across all of our divisions, there's about 175 people. It is a privately owned company. It was public at one time, and actually they took it private again in the 2000s. Some things that you may or may not know, as you know, Robroy actually owned Dual Line. I will say as of, we moved this from Odessa in 2009, but Robroy actually sold Dual Line and got out of the oil and gas industry a couple of months ago. So that's actually, we sold it to one of Dual Line's largest customers, which was called Max Tube. And Max Tube has good plans to grow that organization, and they're a little bit more focused in the oil and gas industry across the U.S. and more so, actually, about 70 to 80% of that business is overseas. And so Brazil to the Middle East and different things that happen there. So that's just kind of some new information about Dual Line, and it allows us to focus a little bit more in the electrical industry, which is the focus of the new ownership, or the current ownership of Robroy. So I'll talk a little bit more about the conduit division. We moved the conduit division in 1967 to Gilmer. A lot of that was a tie to Lone Star Steel at the time that made our tubing for us. And we actually made galvanized tubing for electrical raceways. That's basically the job or the business that we were in at that time. And we actually changed the name from Pittsburgh Standard to Robroy Industries at that time. We purchased a company in Houston that actually coated conduit. They coated it with a PVC coating, and that's basically what we do there today. The name of that product is called Plastilon. And we were one of the first in the market to actually produce this kind of product. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. In 1969, we also had started an organization in Avenger, Texas, which is about 30 miles down the road. And that organization basically produces elbows, couplings, and nipples, clamps, things that are accessories kind of for the electrical industry and the electrical raceway industry. Altogether, the conduit division is just about 100 associates. And we have, right now, I have about 14 recs out for new people. So we're gearing up for growth and kind of been a new transition that's been happening over the, I think 50% of our office staff right now are less than 2 years with the company. So it's a kind of a new old company, let's put it that way. And so there's some good things and some interesting things that happen. One of the things that our product does is it's specifically designed, it's a niche product, and it goes into markets and areas where corrosion can be an issue. It might be infrastructure project, water, wastewater, oil and gas, chemical companies, that kind of thing, where basically there's a need to control corrosion from becoming a bigger problem to protect the electrical raceway. Corrosion is a fairly significant cost to our industry, but this is kind of one of the areas that make it more of a niche product. It's not installed everywhere, it's just installed in areas where there's a high potential for corrosion. We go to market through education-based marketing. We actually reach out specifically to end users and specifying engineers. So in fact, every month we actually have a course called Corrosion College that we actually do right here in Gilmer. And we have anywhere from 16 to 20 people from around the country, South America. We actually do our class in Spanish as well. In fact, we've had, in the last 3 years, we've had 5 classes in Spanish. And they come in Thursday nights, stay all day Friday, and leave out Saturday afternoon. And that's actually a accredited course for their education, their continuing education credits. So everything we do is trying to educate an end user or a specifying engineer on why our product is the way it is and how it's going to help them protect electrical infrastructure from the corrosive environment and how they can do better designs. So that's basically kind of a thing that we do every month that brings people into the marketplace. We sell through electrical distribution. We don't sell direct, so we sell through a channel, and we do that primarily domestically, but probably about 80% of the market as a whole is in the domestic side of the business, and then the rest is normally this part of this part of the hemisphere. But there's some international oil and gas projects that we'll find that we'll send our stuff internationally as well. This is the kind of product where our products go into: infrastructure, transportation, bridges, airports. Industrial goes into chemical plants. It also, water, wastewater is a really sizable marketplace for us. Bridges, so any kind of bridges that go over salt water and that kind of thing, just to protect electrical infrastructure, adding that PVC coating over the top actually helps the process of corrosion resistance. And then even on commercial, when there's campuses, one of our large campuses in Houston area basically specifies just our product, and they do it because when they do burial, they want to make sure that the dirt and the acidics in the soil don't corrode the material. So that's basically another area where we're sold. I'm gonna do we thought it'd be great to take a plant tour, but the buses were all busy today. So I'm gonna actually take you through a video and kind of explain a little bit about what we do. And by the way, if there's any questions so far?
Are y'all still making any powder coated piping for subways?
We do. That's called New York Conduit, and we still make that product. In fact, we're actually looking at doing a little bit of revamp on there to make ours a little bit differentiated in the marketplace. There's new competitors. So, but yes, we make it for the subways. And the reason that product is used in the subways is because if a fire happens on a PVC, it'll actually put off a toxic gas. And the urethane coated product actually doesn't. So it's much better for the subways where there's people that are going to walk through. Any other questions? Okay, after the video, there's got to be questions, okay? I'm going to take you through this a little bit. So Robroy, we make three brands of the same product: Permacoat, Plastibond, and Corcap. The only thing different between those three products is the color on the inside. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Our facility is about 140,000 square feet. And again, this is when we moved here in 1967. So it gives you kind of an overview of the facility. This is where our pipe pad is. We actually have pipe that is 1/2 inch through 6 inch, and there's 12 trade sizes between there. It comes in actually 20-foot sticks, and we actually, throughout our process, we actually cut that down and actually start processing the pipe. So we don't really make the product. I mean, the steel all comes to us, the fittings come to us. What we do right here, this is showing you how we do our adhesion enhancement process. So right here, we're cleaning the pipe and actually creating a profile on that pipe to allow when we do the coating to stick. That's one of the key characteristics of our product and why it lasts so long. So now it goes up into that CMU block building back there. In fact, that was the first project I did for Robroy back in 1995. So this goes up into that room and it actually cuts. You'll see some sparks fly there. Cuts that 20-foot piece into a 10-foot nominal length, okay? And then what we do is we move through the rest of the facility, and this time it's basically be threaded. This first threader actually does 2.5 inch through 6 inch trade sizes, and then we'll see the next two threaders actually, they do 1/2 inch through 2 inch. And this has been, this area we spent some capital dollar over the last few years, and it's another area where we're getting ready to spend some more too. Actually have about $1 million project that we're getting ready to do in that area. This is raw materials, so this would be the fittings that go along. I think that we're passing around some of our stuff. There's like a cross-section of a fitting and a piece of conduit. When we, the fittings come from Kraus-Heinz, a 50-year relationship that we've had with them, and we have to process those parts and prepare the surface for the coating preparation as well. And that's what we do here. We do it through ovens and through tumble blasters and cleaning and all that kind of thing. Right there in that room right there, we actually do the coating. That's what they're showing right here. They actually coat both the inside with the urethane, and it's actually a polyester urethane, which is what she's doing right there. And then we also coat the outside. So it's coated inside and out of the entire product. This is where it goes through the oven after the powder's been cured. And it's going to go into a primer station next, where we have to actually put primer on the product where we want the PVC to stick. If we don't want the PVC to stick, we just don't put primer on that area. So, but that's basically what we do there. We do it by hand in some areas, and then we do it in a dip process as well. So now we're getting ready to go into where we do the PVC coating. And in order to make sure the PVC coating doesn't get on the inside, we have to actually close all the gaps and all the holes with tooling. And the tooling actually creates really the part with sleeves and different components and accessories. And so he's hanging it on the rack. This rack is actually going to go on a carousel through the oven. Goes through a preheat oven, and then now it's going through a cure process. So that the thickness of the PVC is going to be determined by the heat of the part and how long it is in that tank. So the PVC actually gels around that part, and that's actually how the part gets coated. It goes through a cure oven, then they got to take all the tooling off, and they got to do trimming. That's basically what's going to happen at this station here. We have about 48 people in production right now. Is about how many we have in production. Shipping, receiving areas, we ship 5 to 6 days a week. So on Saturdays we do some shipping as well. And again, we ship internationally, ship all over the country. Inventory of our finished goods. Usually we keep about 6 to 8 weeks of our inventory on the shelves. Part of our goal is to have ship 95% of our product within 48 hours. So it's serving a construction industry, which is all project-based, and so it becomes very, very important for us to be able to do that. Before I showed you how we prepared the surface of the pipe on the outside, well, we need to clean it and then also prepare the surface on the inside to take the urethane. That's basically what these tanks do, is that it goes through a cycle of tanks, and it actually etches the surface and actually prepares it to accept the primer and the urethane on the inside. So again, this is the primer area, just like we do on our fittings. And it will coat the pipe here. That yellow is just a dye we put in it so that you can actually see that it has a good coating and a good coverage on it. And then of course we have to tool it up and cap the end of the pipes right here so they can be dipped. And it goes into an oven just like it did, just like the fittings did when you see those going through the dip process. And here's the pipe actually going through the dip process from the preheat oven. Turns 2 1/4 times through that process, and then it goes out on the cure up. And then this next piece of equipment that you're going to see is actually takes the tooling off the pipe. It actually does a laser cut to cut the PVC in the right place. And then it prepares the surface of the threads, cleans them up a little bit, and then there's actually an arc flash process that coats the threads with zinc. And you can see the arc flash, see how it's coated right there on the left side. That arc flash that happens. It actually throws down a little bit of a heat and an arc that basically allows the zinc to stick. And then it goes and actually is coated on the interior. Those lances go out into the pipe, and as they pull back, they actually spray the color red, green, or gray, depending on the brand. And then they go out on a table, and they're labeled and touched up and made sure that, from an inspection standpoint, that they're good. And they parade them at the end of the line. But those are protective caps that just protect the threads during shipping, and they're actually cut off when they thread up the pipe. This is another way that we coat product. We coat product by the dipping process that we've seen, and then this is called small fluid bed, which what it does is kind of by a powder coat. We preheat the part, we spray a powder on it, and it puts a thin layer. The parts that I passed around are 40 mil thickness. The parts that go on this part are 20 mil thickness. This is where our elbows are. Avenger actually built the facility in Avenger actually does the bending, so we send them coated pipe, they cut it, thread it, and bend it, and then we give it back to us. Third way that we do the coating is through injection molding. So these are through heat and pressure and time. It actually creates a part around a PVC around the part, and you can see all these parts here, and then they're assembled. So that saved us a little bit of time then going to the plant. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tour a little bit. Any other questions? I have one more slide, and I was going to open it up, but I figured I'd go ahead and any questions about the facility or the plant or what we do or what we produce.
Where does your pot come from now?
We have 2 sources. Try to have 2 sources for everything. So one source is a 50-year relationship with Sumitomo. And so it comes from Japan. In fact, we just celebrated our 50th. In fact, I noticed you guys have, somebody's been visiting Japan over here. And then our secondary resource is Wheatland 2. And that source is in Sharon, Pennsylvania. And so we source it from both vendors. In fact, this year when I went to Tokyo for the 50th anniversary, I met the gentleman that actually sold the first pipe. He went from being the salesman of Bob, which was 2 generations back, and he was his salesman, and he went back to Japan. He became CEO of Sumitomo, and so we ended up having lunch with him, which was quite an experience. Bob, and if anybody knew Bob was a pretty hard-charging individual, and kind of one of those characters, I guess you could say. And he actually was in World War II, and 2 of his ships got sunk. One was that he was the captain of, and he had a picture on the wall of that, and it was sunk by a kamikaze. And so he had that on the wall, and when we were getting told the story a couple months ago, basically the gentleman, Shockey, basically was in his office, and he asked about it, and he says, yes, that was my ship that your kamikaze sunk. So it was kind of an interesting conversation between that. That's how the relationship started. That was before he sold his first piece of steel. That was a pretty interesting conversation. Any other questions?
What varies training period?
For an operator, our goal is to have it where any normal operation that they can basically be up to speed within 3 days. Now, usually we take them kind of through a process of kind of going through everything. And there's some areas that are a little bit more difficult. They're at one step above. They're more of an equipment operator. But everything we try to do is make sure that they have the opportunity to be up to speed in 3 days. We have to today, because it's, we have a lot, we're in a great position in the sense we have some people that have been there forever, in 25, 30, 35 years. And of course, those are people that really know how to do their job. But the newer generation that's coming in a little bit more transient. We have to figure out how to make sure that they become effective and efficient very quickly. And so that's part of that process that we continue to modify and change to make sure that we're a viable manufacturer for the long term. Our goal is to stay here. It's not to move manufacturing anywhere else. We like to manufacture here. Yes, sir. Any other question? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, so I skipped over that a little bit, and then Verona's where our corporate headquarters are. There's no manufacturing there, but our other manufacturing operations are in Belding, Michigan. And that Belding is Robroy Enclosures. It's the enclosure division, so I have a counterpart that's there. And they make fiberglass and polycarbonate enclosures, mainly for the electrical industry. So again, we're kind of tied in now more so just to the electrical industry. And it's a corrosion-resistant product, so there's always been a corrosion theme to what we do. But it's and it's 70, it's about 75 people for the total of 175. Sorry, I didn't see your hand back there. Go ahead.
So the newer workforce is transient. How long do you usually keep an employee?
Oh,
How many do you have to hire a year?
I wish I knew where to put that. I mean, if there's somebody that's actually fairly good, probably 2 or 3 years. That's a little bit of the challenge is even getting it to be that long. It's just, it's us. It's always that transitional. You're going through, you got to do things a different way and that kind of stuff. And so we're a little bit in that. One of the reasons that I came in 5.5 years ago was because there was a lot of people getting ready to retire. And so it was kind of getting ready for the next generation. So it's been fun. I mean, it's kind of like a new company in some ways, but sometimes you end up with some of the new company pains to figure out how we're going to do things a little bit different. But I think we have, one of the things I think we're very competitive in our wages, we're very competitive in our program, so it's a great place to stay if you want to stay. And that's our goal, is to make it out. The professional side of the business is a little bit challenging as well, but I think we've found that we're actually have had great luck lately. A lot of people that want to move back to East Texas, you know, that maybe have gone away for a while and they're starting to have families that they really are putting their kids in school and that kind of stuff, and they kind of want to come back to East Texas. We have several of those. The one that we just hired just recently that will start on Monday, that was a key position for us. In fact, that key position has not been filled for 7 years, which is challenging. Any other questions? So, yeah, Avenger's about 17, and Gilmer's makes up the rest of that. I think we're 3 shy from 100 total. So 80 over here, somewhere around there. Yes, sir.
Where is that plant in Avenue?
Well, yeah, you know the red light? You take a right at the red light, and it's about, I don't know, a couple miles down that road right on your right. It's kind of off the beaten path, you can't see it, you know, but you can see like a rock, yeah, past the railroad tracks, you know, that kind of thing. But, yeah, you gotta kind of know it's there. It's funny because we have a safety audit that we do every year, and one of our safety audits is that we get dinged on over there is because, you know, we don't have it all locked down, and you know, it's like, well, nobody knows where it is, you know. That's a pretty good safety record if they don't know where it is, I think, actually, but anyway.
The person that put that in and ran it for 15 years or so, he still lives here in Gilmer.
Oh, yeah?
Bill Bosch.
I've heard that name, yes. I don't know
When he
though.
put it, ran in there.
Really? Back in the late 60s. Any other questions? Couple of things that I'll kind of end with, just a little bit on I'm not going to go through all these because they're things that we live by and important to us. Of course, integrity, and that's in everything that we do. You know, these are things that have been kind of staple to Robroy culture for quite a long time. Customer focus, you know, the thing that's interesting about our customer focus is that we definitely have the best service in the industry. We are known in the industry as the Cadillac product. And there is no doubt in the industry that not only do we have better service than everybody else, and even the way that we go to marketing is through education. We're not very salesy. We're much more about educating our customers and letting them draw the conclusion about why our product is the best. And that's basically kind of that quality that goes along with that. So people in the industry know us as the number one, and that's always our intent to be that way. And it's a lot more fun, right? Selling the best product in the industry. Employee growth, I don't know of any place I've been or even heard about how much we're committing to tuition reimbursement programs and just everything that we do around safety or whatever it might be from a development standpoint. I think we're in a great position in it, and it takes that today because there's just a lot to learn, I think, as new people come into the organization. Technology, you know, this is one of those areas, this is the reason why 17 years ago I got involved with the company, because I was a technology vendor to them. And some of the things that we've innovated and implemented within that facility over the last 20-some years have been critical to, I think, the success of Robroy, but also has made sure that it continues to be over and above our competitors. And then we have some non-negotiables, safety. Guys, you saw a video. I can tell you that, you know, my predecessor, David, made that place a clean place. Housekeeping is, as you can see, during I think the first time I went there to work on that machine, somebody had a big chew in their mouth and they spit on the floor. You know, it doesn't look like that happens anymore, and it doesn't, by the way, but it's just a cultural change that's happened, and our safety record is impeccable. We think that housekeeping and safety are basically go hand in hand, and that's part of the process. And obviously quality, productivity, we measure everything. I think that's why some people opt out, because there's no place to hide. We are committed, like I said before, we're committed to being effective and efficient and productive because we want to keep manufacturing here. Manufacturing is not always the sexy thing in the marketplace, but it is to us. And so we make sure that we do what we can to keep it there. And that's part of our culture. you know, our culture is all about basically making sure that we're setting high expectations. Hopefully, we're leading people to places where they didn't think they could go. And hopefully we're doing that in a way that builds the person and the individual, but also does it for the team of the organization. So that's all I have today. Questions, I'm open, or, you know, I'll turn the floor back over.
Thanks, Steve.
Great to know a little bit more about the company and have a great industry and employer here in the county. So appreciate y'all coming out.